We're all looking at the same thing. Thank you for joining us for another perspective from the Sag Nasty If Anybody Asks Me podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. For more videos, please subscribe to the channel.
The day maybe before I was leaving Mount Pleasant to move back home with my parents, that he posed a question to me that I'm like, Dr. Tucker, where were you last semester? I could have been working on it.
So at Central, did you do 3 years then? What, you did 4 years? What happened?
Yeah, like 4.5 years
Damn.
at Central.
And this is education. What is the major?
So initially it was
This is why it
music
took so long.
education.
Yeah.
It was music education. And it took so long, partially because things changed up a little bit, but it wasn't because of a major it wasn't because of a large major change or a very different major change in my major in my studies, because I stayed with music the whole time.
Okay.
So it was music education, and then like after the first year it was like I'm sorry, by the time I had to get into the music ed courses specific to music education, I got into those that first semester, and I went to some classrooms with the classes, and I was like, this is not it. This is not what I want to do.
Wow.
I was going to say in my ear, but my parents lovingly, my daddy lovingly was trying to guide and advise more stable, or the most stable, financially stable avenues. He said he loved that I thought I wanted to be a teacher. He wanted me to be a teacher so bad, but he wanted me to be like a history teacher or an English
something more
teacher.
standard. Yeah.
Something more standard. And I think he saw two of his sisters had been teachers.
Okay.
He thought that was not only lucrative, and stable, but more sensible, I think. In all honesty, he might argue with that and say music is very sensible, but I really honestly don't think that he believes it's as much of a necessity. So it's okay. But also he knew going on and on, music programs are being shut down. We're gonna have to teach history. We're gonna have to teach English.
And there's only one language arts. Tim. I guess there's sometimes only one history teacher, but there's not always music programs,
right?
And they're usually there a long time. Yeah,
exactly. So I tried. I said, okay, Tash, let's give this a try. Let's give this your whole effort. I tried to minor in, because that was some of the verbiage that he talked about sometimes, is you should at least get a minor in business or in he was talking business, I think, to go along with the music.
Yeah.
Like in the event I went on as a singer, maybe, I don't know what his thought process was when he said business. But then he would say, or you should at least minor in history or English, and then that way you should be able to teach those. Yeah. And I don't know if that's how accurate that is, but I decided to try it.
I'm an English major, not that accurate, but okay.
and I've always loved words. I've always loved origins of words. I would like to say that I love to read, but reading always puts me to sleep. And so, but when like studying literature and things like that was always interesting to me, but it was at the same time, for whatever reason, it just makes me sleepy. So that didn't go very far. I do like history. I like learning about things, but it just wasn't for me. Like to be to be a history or an English teacher, like you, once I got further along, I actually saw myself as more of a professor. teaching music at the college level.
Awesome, but hard.
But no guidance. And I
Yeah,
was
and no
very,
guidance.
once I got to Central, I was very close to my voice teacher. So when
Oh.
you have your one-on-one voice lessons or your instrument that you play, you go to your instrument lessons each week.
Mm.
And so I grew very close to Dr. Tucker and still have a relationship with him even now.
That's awesome.
Um, and it wasn't until uh the day maybe before I was leaving Mount Pleasant to move back home with my parents that he posed a question to me that I'm like, Dr. Tucker, where were you last semester? I could have been working on this. He said, well, Natasha, why didn't you just stay here and go to grad school? I never really truly considered grad school as an option for me. I didn't know that it was an option. I
What
didn't
is
know
grad
what to
school,
do with it.
really? Yeah, like,
Exactly. What is
yeah,
it?
you're right.
So yeah, that's one of those things.
Mm-hmm. So you never went back? No.
Nope.
Okay. I'll save my story. I guess I'll tell it. I have a moment like that too, but it's different. But I want to keep moving forward. So you go home?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do? Because I know you can't do nothing. That means.
Exactly.
Right.
So the large part of that conversation was always, you need to get a job so you can start paying these student loans back.
But
You need to start doing that, but I didn't have an actual, like, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had a degree. My degree from Central Michigan is a Bachelor of Science
yeah.
with a music major.
Right.
Usually when you graduate from the School of Music, you have a Bachelor of Music or a Bachelor
Of
of
arts?
Arts.
Yeah. Okay. And you had
And
science. Wow.
so, I mean, it didn't mean that I couldn't sing anywhere, but what other types of jobs, or that I couldn't go on to grad school. But I kept hearing this from my dad, and I think it was just his voice and me always doing what my parents said that made me go on home. And I found a job at a accounting firm, a local
Wow.
accounting
Mm-hmm.
firm, just as well, it was a CPA office, and I was just like the receptionist, kind of
Still,
the
yeah, yeah.
person,
Mm-hmm.
and he was good people, he was mean, he's mean, but I could deal with him. I could deal with
Yeah,
people like that.
yeah.
Um, and but I needed something else because, of course, tax season, once that's over, there's not a whole lot that he was doing, especially this particular person. So I landed something through Kelly Services at Dow Chemical in their
Wow.
procurement department,
Okay. Okay.
purchasing
Yeah.
department, quality control, quality assurance sort of type thing.
Okay.
So um, still, I wasn't paying those student loans back
Yeah. That's
by
usually
that
what
time.
happens. Yeah, exactly. Did
I
you have
was
it on
like,
default
I
or
can
whatever you call it?
afford. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yep,
That's
pretty
usually what
much.
happens. Yep, me too. Mm-hmm.
And there was a period of time where I said, okay, I'm not staying here. Not because I don't like Saginaw or I can't stand Saginaw. I need to move on to do something else. And I didn't know what I was gonna do there in Saginaw. I didn't want to live in Saginaw though. I actually didn't want to live in Michigan.
Wow.
So I did revisit and start looking at grad school options, but in the South.
Okay.
And it just never really, and again, no guidance. I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know who to ask for.
It's hard after that though. Like
Yeah.
in regard to getting the guidance and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I didn't know who to reach out to. And so I was trying my best. I was trying, but it was like I was like doggy pedaling, like trying to figure out which way to
Mm-hmm.
go and what
Mm-hmm.
to do. And it so that those options for schools out of state never really got off the ground. I never auditioned anywhere. I can't even remember if I actually applied anywhere. I may
Yep.
have.
Mm-hmm.
And then I continued working at Dow Chemical through Kelly Services. And by that time, my now husband, then boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
um, he proposed, and
Okay.
he's a MSU grad and he works for MSU.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to be with me, and I was ready for companionship, and I said, okay, that means I'm moving to East Lansing.
Wow. Okay. And that's where you're at now?
That is where I am. I'm in Lansing. We own a home in Southside Lansing, and I have been working for MSU Federal Credit Union since 2011.
Okay.